There is a place where lost hearts wander, where no place else can shine the sun, where clouds can part and hurt minds ponder some rainbow hope for a mother's son. The demon's voice will call with passion. A father's daughter just may take heed. In desperation she'll take the promise and lose her hope with shame and speed. Sometimes it takes a hero's vision to light a candle's waxen wick, so that the dark road that we are lost on becomes a golden path to pick. So if by chance you hear dark thunder, as it bears down on you, walk straight and tall. Look for the candles along the highway, stay on your journey and find the wall. If the door looks closed, then try the window. If the window shatters, just scale the wall. Inside a chair and a smile is waiting. Come scale the wall and tell it all.
Hi, my name is Teresa Krupel, Executive Director of the Thorpe Recovery Center. Over the past 40 years, I'm proud to say that we've helped over 12,000 clients on their journey in the road to recovery. Although the building has grown, our staffing numbers have increased, the heart of what we do remains the same. This year, as we celebrate 40 years, thank you to all of you that have been a part of our journey.
Slim and Dad and others of the day, they managed to talk to a couple of doctors, one being Dr. Hemstock, and the other one I do believe was Dr. Natras. Anyway, they talked to him about having people with an alcohol problem. That was their initial regard. It was to get them into the hospital. In the provinces of Alberta and Saskatchewan in the day back in the 50s and early 60s, it was almost impossible to get an alcohol that was in the withdrawal stages into a hospital. Simple reason being they would tear out their IV, they would cause all kinds of disruptions, could try to jump out a window or go into heavy delirium tremens, DTs. And so Slim and Ron Sr. Talked to the hospital board and talked to the doctors and said, if you would take a live alcoholic into the hospital, we will provide the manpower as members of AA to sit with this individual during those withdrawal periods, albeit 24 hours a day. We'll have somebody there sitting with this individual, so you don't have to be concerned about all the things, and we can have another backup person just on a phone call away. So they hummed and hawed on that, and it was approved. So they'd get a guy in there, a bottom end guy, and usually was a guy in those days. Although the first client admitted to the Thorpe was a female. Anyway, they'd get a guy in there and he'd go through the withdrawal and start to get color in his life and start to show promise, and everything's going good, and gets out and goes to a few meetings, and then pretty soon the old ways come back, and this individual is back on the bottle again, and they're trying to get him back into the hospital again. Anyway, from that came the birth of the Thorpe Recovery Center. We need, as Slim said, we need a place where we can keep them longer, when we can get some stuff in between their two ears. And Slim often talked to those guys in those early days. I can remember it just as clear as a bell, putting his finger right into their chest and saying, if you're on the railroad track, don't you worry one iota about the caboose. Doesn't matter if that train is 33 cars long or 133 cars long. By the time the locomotive hits you, it's done. You're over. It's the same as this drinking thing, Slim would say. By the time you take that first drink, it doesn't matter whether you have 3, 33, or 133. The damage is already done. And Slim would say that time and time again. So out of that necessity came into the main floor of the nurses' residence, which was right adjacent to the Lloydminster Hospital. And they started their operation in 1975. And kind of interesting that the mental health offices were down below and there were still nurses up above, but the main floor was turned into the Thorpe Recovery Center. And basically kind of a detox, and there were some rooms where they could keep people a bit longer, where they started a little bit of a treatment program. But that was the start of it.
November 26, 2009. Are you afraid, anxious, or nervous? Probably confused? I was. That's the point here. There are so many emotions a person experiences when entering this building, and we go through many more during our time here. There will perhaps be times where you want to run out of here and bury those feelings deep down even further. But don't be afraid. You are a person with feelings, and you are allowed to have those feelings. This is the time. This is the place. Embrace it, and it shall lead you to freedom. My most important piece of advice is to be honest with yourself. You're here. You've made it this far. You must challenge yourself to make it through to the greatest victory of your life. This starts with truth. This is where your life begins.
The only thing I can say is wow, because it's, if, like I said, if I'd have known life was this good, I would have tried a little bit harder, when I was in my, in my late 20s, trying to sober up, as opposed to, sobering up when I'm 40 years old. And, I'm just amazed that, the program works, and I should have, not been so selfish when I first got into the program. It wasn't all about me. And another thing is when I guess one of the reasons why I didn't sober up when I first came into the program is I was trying to sober up for the wrong reasons. I was trying to sober up to maybe save my marriage, keep my wife happy a little bit, try to get some respect back from my parents, but I was never doing it for me. And the very first time that I tried to sober up for Sheldon, it worked, you know, and that was cool. Now that I've looked back at, you know, the progress in my recovery, that's exactly what it was for. You know, I was always trying to sober up for somebody else. I only sobered up once for myself, you know, tried to. And, you know, it's been so cool, you know, that, you know, I don't know where to end this, but I always say that if people are really struggling and really want to sober up, that, you know, if I can sober up, your chances are pretty good too if you just put in a little bit of work, you know, because staying drunk the way I was way harder than the sobriety ever has been. You know, it's a piece of cake compared to staying drunk for as long as I did, and to the level of that I took everything. So it's been a hell of a journey, Pat. It has. You know, I get congratulated for what I do and all that. And it's like, you know what? It's not about that. It's just about trying to live healthy, you know. And it's people from the program of AA, the people at the Thorpe, you know, have helped make me the person I am today. And, you know, for that, I'll be forever grateful.
Amazing grace.
How sweet the sound.
That saved.
An alcoholic.
Failure.
Agnostic.
Partier.
Liar.
Drug addict.
A wretch.
Like me.
I once was
Broken.
Resentful.
Helpless.
depressed.
Out of control.
Abandoned.
Selfish.
Self-destructive.
Angry.
Confused.
Just lost.
But now,
I'm sober.
Happy.
Peaceful.
Grateful.
Free.
Alive.
Forgiven.
I'm found.
I was blind.
To God.
To faith.
To love.
Pero ahora, yo veo.
I see that I matter.
I see past my problems.
I see my Savior.
I see grace.
Amazing grace.
'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and raised my fears relieved. How precious